From now on, it may also be known for stock cars, as the locals take on the world in American-style super speedway racing.
It's a dream come true, really.
For the first time ever, the ASA is bringing super speedway action to Africa.
And I said, I want to be there. I want to go. I want to be a part of it.
Exclusive coverage of the inaugural Free State 500 is next. Welcome to Welkom in South Africa. Phakisa Freeway, the site of the first ever Free State 500. Scott, it's going to be an amazing day of action.
On January 31st, 2010, one of the most forgotten stock car races took place outside the United States. The American Speed Association, aka the ASA Series, announced they are running a race in South Africa at the Phakisa Freeway Oval, a 1.5-mile racetrack located between Welkom and Untitled, South Africa. It would be known as the Free State 500, a 24-car race featuring American, South African, Australian, and UK drivers, and to this day was the only event ever held on the Phakisa Oval. So join me as we look into the journey of the Free State 500 and what was supposed to be the ASA TransContinental Series. So where do we begin? Before Phakisa Raceway existed, Goldfield Speedway was in its place, which had been running open-wheel racing since 1969, but by then had run its course in early 1997. In late 1997, though the owners of the flag Goldfield Road Course were happy, they also wanted to bring something new. They wanted to bring stock car racing to the area, as NASCAR and stock car racing as a whole was in a huge boom period of the late 90s. So Goldfield Speedway was demolished, and the new Phakisa Raceway was opened in early 1999. Along with the road course, it featured a 1.5-mile oval, similar to the original Las Vegas 1998 layout, as well as Pikes Peak. The track was a D-oval and is about as wide as Pikes Peak, while being heavily influenced by Las Vegas's banking, to the point that they are nearly identical. The backstretch of Phakisa is banked to 3 degrees, the turns were 12 degrees, and the D-oval to 9 degrees, the near exact match with the old Las Vegas marks, which were 3, 12, and 8 respectively, with a 2.636-mile road course inside the oval itself. During its first 10 years, however, the oval was never used. While the road course featured MotoGP events from 1999 to 2004, and other racing events as well, no talks of the oval ever came. Cyril van der Meer was a legendary South African racer who even made a few NASCAR starts, was the only driver at that point to ever turn a lap on the oval, doing so on the opening weekend in 1999. Ironically, though, it was because he was lapping out of anger directed towards the Goldfield track demolition. At this point, by September of 2009, it looked like the oval would never be used, as it has sat dormant for about 10 years, when the ASA Series had taken notice. ASA President Dennis Hoth eyed a potential race in South Africa as a good way to bring American superspeedway influence to the country and potentially rebirth to relevance. This move gave birth to the Free State 500, to be held at Phakisa Freeway on January 31st. It will be known as the ASA TransContinental Series. Since haulers couldn't be used, a 40-foot container ship was used to transport the cars, tools, tires, and equipment, with each team getting their own container. Some of the higher-budgeted teams chose to fly their equipment instead, as although it was more expensive, the equipment would get there much quicker. For the teams that used the container ships, it took approximately 60 days to get to South Africa, with the first shipment leaving on December 1st, and the final shipment of cars leaving on December 7th. By January 27th, just 4 days before the race was scheduled to start, all cars had finally shown up to South Africa and were being transported by semi from the Phakisa harbor to the actual racetrack itself.
The cars and race equipment were packed in cargo containers and shipped in mid-January to arrive in the port of Durban, South Africa, and from there on to the Phakisa Raceway. A small problem occurred when the ship carrying the container with the cars for John Mickle and Gary Lewis was involved in a minor collision, and like many travelers, missed its connection. Fortunately, those cars and all of the other containers were at the track and opened by the teams Thursday afternoon and ready for action on Friday. Another minor hiccup occurred when the truck bringing all of the Hoosier tires was also delayed in arriving, and the teams didn't make it onto the track until Friday afternoon. Staging an event like this, you're bound to encounter a few minor glitches along the way. but other than a late start time on Friday, due to the hard work of officials in both countries, this one's run very smoothly.
Cars in particular for this event were in fact old Cup cars, used by many NASCAR teams such as Michael Waltrip, Joe Gibbs, and Bill Davis. While more than 24 drivers expressed interest in running this event, the South African drivers needed to get a license approval in order to run. A 2-day test was held at the Welcome Racing Circuit in California with driver Mark Ebert watching over the test. The first 5 drivers who passed the test were Johan Cronje, FJ Oosthuizen, Lionel Lauder, and West Bank V8 racers Jaco and Dan Correa Jr. Driving school officials were impressed at how quickly these drivers had adapted to the new style. Jeffrey Beaudine, a former winner of the Daytona 500, was also in South Africa for a few days in December to help promote the race and established a target lap time of 38 seconds for the 1.5-mile oval. The lap times of the South Africans range between 40.2 and 42 seconds. More driving classes happened and a couple of other drivers passed the test as well. In total, 21 drivers made the attempt to qualify, but only 6 were successful in doing so. Jeffrey Beaudine was on the pole running a lap of 149 miles per hour in a former car built by John Borneman Racing. Won the pole by nearly 2/10 over then Nationwide driver Mark Davis. The 5 South African drivers in the field were the number 11 of Jaco Correa, who qualified 9th, the 00 of Johan Coetzer, starting 23rd, the number 20 of Juju Zulu, starting 19th, the number 900 of Johan Spies, starting 21st, the number 2022 of Johan Cronje, starting 11th, and the number 68 of Dan Correa, starting 14th. Unfortunately, one car was not going to run that made the whole trip out there. The 31 of Dustin Dudley blew a motor in practice and unfortunately did not have a spare, withdrawing his entry, leaving us with only 24 cars to run. Luckily for him, the South African government had covered all travel costs and lodging for all drivers, so therefore they easily supplied him a room to stay and covered his travel back to the U.S. Starting the race, though, were 2 very unique cars in the field, the number 98 of Sean Richardson and the 900 of Johan Spies. Those 2 cars were carrying the ASA TransContinental Series engine, a 500-plus power electronically fuel-injected racing motor, while the other 22 starters were running conventional racing motors as well. ASA managed to pick up a television contract for the Free State 500 as well, to be shown in the United States on a set of regional channels such as Sports South and other several local South African channels were scheduled to broadcast the event as well. A purse money equivalent of $300,000 US was up for grabs on a near 100-degree day with a packed house of over 11,000 people watching in person.
Who had transmission problems, he will fall to the back along with several others. Mark Ebert, Sean Richardson, Lance Fenton all had trouble, and those and a couple others will fall to the back of the field as we get ready for green.
Safety car dives for pit road. About to get going, the inaugural ASA TransContinental Free State 500. Glad to have you with us, and we're underway and welcome in South Africa. Mark Davis jumping to the early lead from the outside pole, and this young man's got a lot to race for. Shortly before the cars and the drivers came across from the USA, his dad Harry passed away tragically. Harry Davis, a big influence of Mark Davis's career, a young driver of whom much is expected. Let's go on board. Russ Blakely in the F-22 takes us down off the backstretch into turn 3.
Not a lot of banking at this racetrack. It's a little bit flatter, so these guys really have to work on handling. But I think tires will be a concern. As you get a little bit of wear, cars are going to be a little bit looser, maybe even a little freer when you pick up the gas late. But then remember that transition where they go down the backstretch might be a problem.
Off of turn 2, Mark Davis is your early race leader. And here's a look at that transition, Scott. Now, this racetrack built about 10 years ago to mimic Las Vegas Motor Speedway as it was then, not as it is now. Not nearly as much banking as the current configuration of Vegas has.
And they have to carry the car down into the corner. They have to really let it roll, and they'll pick the gas up early. This doesn't have a lot of banking, therefore it's not a lot to catch the car as well.
Don Ulier from Arizona, his Monte Carlo, the 88 car, heading for pit road early. Looks like he might have a problem. Qualified back outside the first 10 rows. Davis is your leader. Beaudine trying to track him down, battling for position a little deeper in the field here, as Davis is all by himself out on the backstretch.
Davis with a good race car early in the run. We'll see how that goes. You think Beaudine is just kind of laying back, just getting used to this racetrack, kind of pick up the pace. When you're that age, you don't want to go too fast, okay?
Can't lay back too long either. About 5 car lengths is the lead, as here comes Jeff Beaudine now in that 8 car, starting to work on Mark Davis. Got to look at that battle for 4th. Chris Wimmer sits 3rd in that red 52 car. Got a good 3-car battle for 4th. Great crowd on hand here. No one knew what to expect exactly this inaugural race at the Phakisa Freeway, but a crowd of about 12,000 folks has turned out here with no experience watching speedway racing.
They will be race fans by the time they go home this evening, and they'll be back again.
Jeff Beaudine in the 8 car started on the pole. Fast qualifier here this weekend, a speed of 149.938 miles an hour. That car's starting to work on the bottom. He's going to give Mark Davis a battle for the lead out of turn 4.
That is Jeff Beaudine. Probably started with lower air pressures. Let the car come to him just a little bit. Now he's comfortable in the race car. Just let the car roll into that corner, pick the gas up early. That is experience, and there's no way to get around that.
Jeff Beaudine able to keep that 8 car down on the bottom of the racetrack. He'll go inside Mark Davis here on lap 6. Good side-by-side fight for the lead on the backside of this 1.5-mile tri-oval. Davis on the high side trying to hold off Beaudine. Beaudine able to move by. Chris Wimmer rides 3rd in that 52 car.
And you can see Wimmer's car planted down on the pavement, really sealed off at the bottom. And we haven't talked about the advantage, but these guys from the Midwest, the U.S., have been doing this forever. They've got to have an advantage in technology.
And to give some of these short track guys maybe a little more comfort as Beaudine holds onto the lead by a couple of car lengths, this Hoosier tire, Hoosier creating tires just for this event, it's a bias ply tire.
A very good bias ply tire. And remember, it's in the mid-90s here, so that can be a problem later on down the road.
All right, fans, enjoying the show here in Welkom in South Africa. Backstretch, meantime, here's Lewis in that white 7-3, wants to go back at Davis for the top spot. Gary Lewis takes over again.
It is rough on the bottom of that racetrack. He drove right through the bumps and right by him, and caution is out. Only
1 lap of green, yellow flag waving again. Our first wreck of the day. Jaco Correa in the 11 car gets into the wall. That's a tough hit. He's really crumpled up the right front corner of the Liqui-Moly Chevrolet. So Correa from Northwest State here in South Africa. Looks like his day is going to be done a little early. Got a replay for you. Take another look at what happened to Correa because we're on board here.
Down into the corner, car gets a little bit loose. That's the danger zone. It gets free in the back end. He goes around, whack into the wall. Welcome to a super speedway.
Yeah, really. The South Africans participating have never been on a super speedway. They've run short tracks, maybe or road courses, a whole different world for these drivers. Before the start, we asked Todd Lewis to talk to some of the South Africans participating. Here's his look at how these drivers came to get a shot at the inaugural Free State 500.
The race went off perfectly, featuring 9 cautions with 6 leaders and 14 lead changes overall. Number 8 of Beaudine was clearly the class of the field all day, leading a race-high 86 of the 207 laps. Unfortunately, however, with just 3 laps to go, he ran out of fuel, leaving second place Tony Marie Mccray and third place John Michael to duke it out for the win in a thrilling last lap.
Inside 10 laps to go at Phakisa Freeway in Welkom in South Africa, the Free State 500. Tony Mccray in that Lucas Oil machine. She's done a great job running second, Scott Suffolk.
This is a remarkable story. A woman, a young woman with a lot of experience out here showing these guys how to do it.
And Mark Davis, who started on the front row in that 96 car, closing in as well. He's gone a lap or 2 down at times. He's gotten himself back into the hunt here late in the going. These drivers trying to track down the race leader, Jeff Beaudine. Gary Lewis in the 73 had to go back to pit road. He got himself another lap down. He's unlapping himself here in turn 3. Beaudine still in command in that 8 car.
And you know that his spotters tell him, say, look, leave the 73 go, let him go, because he's not on the lead lap. You are still the leader of this race.
Tony Mccray trying to track down the 8 of Jeff Beaudine. What a story it would be if the young driver from the West Coast could become the first female to win a major stock car race and do it here in South Africa. 5 laps to go.
With her limited amount of experience, I just can't get over how well she's done here at this racetrack.
Jeff Beaudine down the backstretch in that Chevrolet, the 8 car. First driver to drive a Rick Hendrick machine in the NASCAR Cup Series. Well, the Daytona 500 for Rick Hendrick has had a storied career. I first met him, gosh, back in the 60s when he was a modified star in the Northeast where I'm from. He's raced everything, everywhere. He's been a star for more than 30 years in this sport. Comes over here and may grab the first ever Free State 500 trophy.
Well, he's had a great race car all day with the exception of that little bit of smoke coming out of it. He's still got 5 laps to go, and that doesn't look good. Well, wouldn't that be terrible to black flag him on the last lap?
I somehow think that will happen. He's been putting down oil smoke for a long time. Tony Mccray in the 90 car in second. Here comes John Mickle from the UK. He's had a great day. He's been up front a bunch of times in that car. A lot of oval track experience, as we've talked about here. The RS Cap Chevrolet, he's doing a great job here.
And his car is very fast. The last time through that corner, the 90, I saw the back end of her car kick out. She's driving the car as hard as she can,
Wait a minute.
but it's getting a little bit looser.
Beaudine in the 8 car down in the corner. Thought he bobbled a little bit coming off turn 4. He looks like he's off the pace, Scott.
Well, that might be just a... He is dropped down.
Jeff Beaudine, who's dominated here today. He's led lots of laps. Could he be out of fuel? Could the motor have given up?
Well, we watched this smoke all day long. His car's still rolling, but he may have lost a cylinder. There could be a lot of things. No, he's definitely off the pace.
Sweeps by in the 90. Here comes John Mickle. Beaudine's going to lose the lead. He's going to have to come to pit road. Unbelievable.
And the girl's leading. With only a couple laps to go, she is leading this race.
Beaudine slides to a stop in the pit box. Mickle and Tony Mccray are side by side. Unbelievable stuff.
Jeff Beaudine thought he could make it on fuel. It looked close for a while, but then came down pit road, dead stick. They've got fuel in the car. Now they're trying to get it refired. The victory has gone away from Jeff Beaudine after having it in his grasp.
We knew it was going to be close when I figured fuel mileage, and it's kind of a gray area. He was 3 laps from making it. Wow.
And once these things stall from a lack of fuel, not much you can do. Now, white flag's in the air. Here's Mickle. John Mickle to the inside of Tony Mccray. This is for the race win here at Phakisa Freeway.
Tony has not given up. She drove it by him on the outside. Go get it, girl.
Tony Mccray and John Mickle door to door. Young woman from California, a veteran driver from Great Britain. Mickle to the inside, takes the lead back in 3. The Free State 500 comes down to these 2 drivers, wildly different backgrounds. Checkered flag is in the air. Let's see what happens off the final corner. John Mickle will be the winner of the inaugural Free State 500 at Phakisa Freeway in Velkom in South Africa. Tony Mccray takes home 2nd spot.
With 3 laps to go, Mickle had no chance. He had to catch the 90 car. Something had to happen to Beaudine. There was no way he was going to win this race, and he's going to victory lane.
As we started to say, when these things stall due to a lack of fuel, really hard to push them.
It takes so long for the fuel pump to pick up fuel from the fuel cell, and it's really, really tough.
So Jeff Beaudine suffers the agony of defeat here at Phakisa Freeway. John Mickle collects the win, the Union Jack being brought out to the start-finish stripe. What a great win for John Mickle. There's Beaudine. They get the 8 car refired. All he can do is drive it behind the wall. Mickle will do some donuts here on the Tri-Oval at Phakisa Freeway. Unbelievable finish to a spectacular event, the inaugural ASA TransContinental Round, the Free State 500. We'll come back and talk to the winner in victory lane when we return in just a moment. Welcome back to Phakisa Freeway in Velkom, South Africa. The Free State 500 is in the books. John Mickle, the winner. He's with Todd in victory lane.
After unbuckling, getting a cold drink, John Mickle is going to climb out and celebrate victory one more time and hold on to that checkered flag. John Mickle jumped down here, and after that last caution, you were back in the field, and there were a couple of cars ahead of you that appeared to be faster, appeared to have it, but it came to you.
Yeah, I got all the crew. Talk Speed English team went with the Dick Midgley team. And to be fair, they put an awesome car together. We planned the strategy for what we had to do, put the best tyres on for the end. And you can't fault the RS Cap, Francis King car. I mean, we come from the back and we just done it. And I feel sorry that something had to Mr. Beaudine, but hey, never mind, eh?
Hey, wow, it's a great strategy. You played out all the way to the end. And how does it feel to be the first winner of the Free State 500?
I think it's great to be here. I've loved every minute since I've been in South Africa. And thank you to all the fans for coming. It's a pleasure to be driving over in this country, and I can't wait to come back next year.
Congratulations, John Mickle, first ever winner of the Free State 500.
What a great afternoon of racing here. Great week for all of us who were able to come over for the Free State 500. Mickle, the winner. Tony Mccray, second. Davis, her dad, Rick Mccray. And Johan Spies, the top 5.
And I think Gary Lewis still had one of the better race cars, had to make a late pit stop that really took him out of it. Jeff Beaudine, got to be heartbroken.
And Danny Correa, who spun early, comes back and gets a top 10 in front of the hometown fans. Gugu Zulu, the Riley driver. What a great outing for him here. Mark Ebert, who had a couple of spins. Sean Richardson, so quick, had problems late, losing it down in turn 1. He looked like he had a chance to win this race.
And you really got to give a call to all the local guys that came out here and supported this, right? The local racer did a great job.
All right, let's meet the runner-up. A great day for young Tony Mccray.
Tony, for someone who had never driven on a 1.5-mile racetrack before this weekend, you did an outstanding job in this race.
Thank you very much. It was such a fun experience. I learned a lot. You know, I learned about the air at the beginning, what makes you tight, what makes you loose, and I paid attention to that to where it would help me in the end. So we definitely had a car to beat. I mean, if our motor wouldn't have laid down, I guarantee you we would have won it.
Guess you're ready to come back again next year?
Absolutely. Yeah, we definitely need to come back. I had a great time. All the people here in South Africa have been wonderful. ASA has done a tremendous job. My guys, Billy Hess, Blake, and all the other guys that put this together for me, unbelievable. And I can't thank my mom and dad enough for giving me this opportunity.
Special to race against your dad as well, especially when you were nose to tail.
That was probably the most special thing about this event is I did get to race with my dad and side by side a couple times, which was really fun. I told him I wasn't going to let him beat me, though. So it was fun.
Congratulations.
Thank you very much.
Terrific to see Tony Mccray have such a great shot at victory here. There's the trophy that John Mickle will collect for winning the inaugural ASA TransContinental Free State 500 here at Velkom in South Africa. Well, Mark Davis started on the front row. Looked like he had a car to win. He ends up third. He's with Todd.
Mark Davis, this was a special race for you in memory of your dad, the race dedicated to him, and you were obviously driving with him on mind.
Yeah, this is huge. I mean, I wanted this more than anything. I mean, this is probably one of the most important races of my career, and I don't want to get emotional right now again for like the 5th time in the matter of an hour or so, but I can't explain how much I wanted this race. And I drove so hard, and it just came up short, and I don't think I've ever driven that hard in my life. I mean, I want to see the tape of it because I know there's stuff, and I don't know what else I could have done. I mean, these guys worked hard on these cars, and I want to congratulate everybody that finished in front of us and Tony and all them. It's tough. It's real tough.
You did a great job. Congratulations.
Thank you.
Mark Davis has got a great future, I think, in this business. What a great weekend, huh?
And he was a lap down and came back.
Yeah,
great
absolutely
drive.
The case. Wild action all over the place. Phakisa Freeway, the scene, a 1.5-mile super speedway. First ever stock car race. Big cars here in this great country. First ever race at this track. First race for the ASA TransContinental Series. And we were thrilled to be a part of it for you. Go to ASARacing.com. Find out more about the American Speed Association. Todd Lewis did a wonderful job for us all week, especially today on pit road. I want to thank my buddy Scott Sutherland for joining me topside. For our entire crew and for the ASA TransContinental Series, I'm Rick Benjamin, congratulating our winner, John Mickle, in the Free State 500. We'll talk to you next time.
The top 5 were the 09 of Jean Michael, the 90 of Tony Marie Mccray, the 96 of Mark Davis, the 08 of Rick Mccray, and the 900 of Johan Spies. The highest American finisher was Tony Mccray in second. Michael was the lone UK driver in the field, and he would win the event. Sean Richardson was the lone Australian driver in the event, finishing 14th. The 900 of Spies was the highest finishing South African driver, while the other South African drivers finished 10th, 11th, 15th, 18th, and 21st. Of our 24 starters, 8 cars DNF'd due to mechanical failures and crashes. Overall, everyone called the race a massive success, bringing in nearly $1 million in revenue, and many of the drivers staying after the race to enjoy South African festivities. The intention was for more oval races to be held at the facility, with a possible 5-race schedule being planned for later in 2010. Ron Barfield, owner of the 88 and 55 cars, stated his intention to leave a couple of his cars behind for the South African local drivers, and a racing school was reportedly supposed to be created. However, no further plans were held, and no other races were held at the Oval as well. A planned second Free State 500 was scheduled for January 2011, but unfortunately never went anywhere, nor did a revival in November of 2012. The ASA unfortunately faded away in the early 2010s, and with the loss of Gugu Zulu, who ran in the race, passing away in 2016 after an unfortunate incident at Mount Kilimanjaro, hurt any further possible return. But the one race that was held was very unique and entertaining, with overtaking galore, especially on the outside line, and to this day, it put on a wild show, with the Phakisa Oval still sitting dormant while the road course is still being used for some road racing events. Will it ever run again? Who knows? But nobody will ever forget what the ASA Series did in January of 2010. What could have been of the TransContinental Series? We will never know. If you are interested in looking at the full race, there are a couple of race links in the description below where you guys can watch the full Free State 500 race. Again, I thank you guys for enjoying the video. Please subscribe to my channel and give the video a like. Check out my other videos as well as the ARCA Racing podcast every Wednesday. You guys have a good rest of your night, and thanks again for tuning in. We'll see y'all real soon.